Did you guys know that there has been another shooter? Yes, that is correct. What news I'm about to break to you guys is probably about to be new because the mainstream media has not been covering what's been going on with the ABC and Jimmy Kimmel situation. Well, we just got big breaking news from Dan Bongino and Cash Patel, the FBI, about this shooter. And again, for those who don't know, well, here we go. So a leftist opened the fire on the ABC station after the news about Jimmy Kimmel being taken off air. Now, we know that there is more to that story when it comes to St. Clair, when it comes to Disney, and when it comes to ABC affiliates. Now, we know that from now, there has been some type of movement to try and get Jimmy Kimmel back on the air. But does this have a lot to do with it? Well, there was a leftist, again, who opened fire on ABC station in California, of course, out of all states, behind the firing of Jimmy Kimmel, and was released after posting bail, but has since been arrested by the FBI. So he was released and then arrested by the FBI. And now what we have found has actually been even crazier. He is a 64-year-old Anibal Hernandez Santana, who is a radical leftist, of course. California releasing him was totally ridiculous, which we got to talk about in just a few moments. That is absolutely ridiculous. That's why he was arrested and picked up by the FBI, because they let him go on bail in California, which is just crazy. Here is a breaking news story I want to share with you here from local news stations in California and Sacramento. And take a listen to this.
After posting bail and being released, the FBI has now rearrested 64-year-old Anibal Hernandez Santana. Now, he was arrested for violating federal statute 47 USC 333, which has to do with the interference to radio communications of a station that are licensed by the government. Hernandez Santana is the suspect in the shooting that led to an investigation at ABC 10 along Broadway in Sacramento. On Friday, police were called to the building in response to shots fired from outside. When they arrived, 3 bullet holes could be seen in the window of the building's lobby. And despite the building being occupied, no one was hurt. That's when the investigation began. Later the same day, KCRA 3 saw police in the River Park neighborhood, including SWAT teams. A witness at the scene reported seeing a man tackled and then taken into custody. Hernandez Santana was booked on 3 felony charges, facing assault with a deadly weapon, discharge of a firearm in a negligent manner, and discharge of firearms at an inhabited building. Hernandez Santana was held on a $200,000 bail and was released earlier on Saturday. But he was once again taken into custody and now arrested by the FBI. Back out here live in front of the federal courthouse here in Sacramento. According to the FBI, Hernandez Santana will be set for his first court appearance. That happens 2 o'clock tomorrow, so Monday.
Okay, so you guys heard the local news there. This got to be one of the wildest stories that, again, people are choosing to neglect. Why isn't this one of the biggest stories in television today? Why isn't one of the biggest stories on ABC, on every talk show, every morning show, every news network? Why are they talking about a guy who just aired out ABC in this timely matter, and then he gets a bail and then gets released? Isn't this not a crazy story to you guys? Like, it's not clicking. I know there's probably some leftists or somebody who is a liberal or Democrat watching the show. This isn't that for you. Okay, here we go. So let's just go into today's breaking news about what we have uncovered by Dan Bongino. Now, here is some big breaking news here. The man who shot up Sacramento's ABC station because they suspended Jimmy Kimmel left a note. We found a note. Right? And in this note, he was warning Trump officials that they're next. He referenced Charlie Kirk. More leftist violence on the rise. California released him on bail, but he is now rearrested by the FBI. So the FBI had to pick up the state's big problem, the city's problem, of course, being Sacramento. California released him on bail, and now he's rearrested, of course. He even signed a note that said CK, Charlie Kirk, from above. Oh, what the hell that means. He says here, do not support Patel, Bongino, and AG Pam Bondi. They're next. CK from above says. The note obtained by National Review said, a calendar reminder saying do not Do the next scary thing was also located. Leftist violence is now out of control. Yeah, no, I'm telling you, I'm telling you how people have not heard about this story, and it's absolutely, again, disgustingly wild to me. But here we go. So it has been confirmed that this was a left-wing attacker. Annabelle Hernandez Santana was released and then rearrested. Of course, we know because of the bail laws we have here in these liberal states in the United States of America. So again, he was saying here, also just came out, that for hiding Epstein and ignoring red flags, do not support Patel and Bongino. So apparently he wrote all of this on behalf of the fact that he is stepping up for, I guess, America. He is saying that America is cooked. Do not trust these people. They're hiding Epstein. All of this stuff. Again, he didn't do this when the left had all control over the Epstein stuff. And again, that is another conversation for another day. I am 100% willing to have with anybody and everybody of how the left is now, again, manipulating this to be what the truth is. And you got guys like this popping up because of it. There is a rhetoric that is leading to stuff like this. In my opinion, I already told my story about how I was demonetized. I'm not even the biggest YouTuber in the world at all. I just speak my opinion, say my mind, whether some people on the right might not even like it. Some people on the left definitely don't like it. But I speak my mind and I communicate with people and they like what I have to say. So they come follow me. Even if they don't like my opinion on certain things, they still stick around because we can converse and we can move on from it. But again, there is rhetoric that leads us to this direction. As I told you, I was demonetized by YouTube. They took away payments from me. For 9 months, they didn't pay me because they said that the things that I was saying was incendiary to my followers. I've told that story before, but if that's your first time listening to it, so you understand exactly what I mean. So I'm going to show you something, again, that I believe is leading us in this direction. Here's Destiny, who was demonetized by YouTube. I thought that that was actually something that YouTube had done, that they got it right, because I believe that this guy is going off the rails. Here's something that he said recently. I think yesterday. Was it yesterday? Yes, it was. About the fact that, again, during the memorial, he says this Charlie Kirk memorial is indistinguishable, excuse me, from a Nazi rally, and F anyone who wants to pretend that it's not a Nazi rally. And again, somebody said this is the energy that led to Charlie Kirk being murdered. This is the energy right here. This is why this guy's demonetized, because he believes that by spraying and spewing all these things, and again, Ilhan Omar has done it, Rashida Tlaib has done it, all these people have done this, where they are, again, going even tripling, doubling down. The people at the top seem to be the ones always doubling down and getting people at the very bottom to act for them. I'm starting to really notice that. One of the left's biggest plots, and I can say this because I grew up in the Bronx. It's a predominantly, blue area voting wise. They have controlled these areas for so long. They get you mad to go to the voting booths and vote against these guys. But now they're getting you even more mad to do, again, the wild stuff that they wouldn't do, but they would pretend that, again, that they don't do it, but they do. They get you riled up. They get you ready to go outside and start things. They get you to do some wild, very wild things. And again, this is what led to Charlie Kirk's assassin, many people believe, including myself. So what is going to happen here? And again, I want to show you guys a few more things that I believe are have led up to this and have now gotten Elon Musk to become and lead himself to a more Christian way. So the fact that this guy was freed, the fact that they're not talking about this, again, breaking, the leftist who shot up a local ABC station over their suspension of Jimmy Kimmel has been released on bail. Remember, this is the breaking news prior to what I just read. But the fact that this guy was released on bail, the fact that no one is talking about this, the fact that this is going and being undermined, to me, is absolutely just unbelievable. It's unbelievable.
Benny, what would Charlie say to Omar and Crockett? Yeah, Jesse, thank you so much for having me on tonight. First off, I think we need to take a big step back and look at what is happening in our political landscape. Because when people tell you who they are, we have to believe them. That's very important. Who are leftists telling us they are? Right now, the entire Democratic Party is more angry that Jimmy Kimmel got a paid vacation to be with his children than that Charlie Kirk will never see his children again. Jesse, the Democrat Party is more outraged that an unfunny corporate TV comedian had to be put in timeout for a few days than that Charlie Kirk will never speak again. It is critically important to understand that this is not really a political issue anymore. This is now a moral issue. Because when you look at where the terroristic threatening is coming from in this country, it is coming from the left. And you need to ask yourself a question, which is, what has happened to these people? Where is your soul? Where is your humanity? Why can't you just do the honorable and decent thing and say, we apologize for any outrageous thing that we have said? We feel bad about this. We disavow political violence. We apologize to Erica Kirk. Your mourning and suffering must be excruciating, and it is. Why can't you just say that? That's what a decent and honorable person would do, and you want to share country with those kind of people. But that's not what's happening on the left. It's become a spiritual question, Jesse. These people need Jesus. Maybe they should rewatch Charlie Kirk's memorial service.